Okay, just a quick video about this thing, this movable that we did, right? This is what we did before, right? We had just this window, and then if I move around with the keys or with these buttons, it's just going to move up, down, etc. So I did this with just making the movement, the speed kind of faster. So these are like this is the code that we did. You see, I have this NetBeans telling me, well, you can replace this if-else chain with the switch. I just would like to show you that what it does. Basically, it just gets this key code and then compares. Is this like this? Is this a up? Then do this. Move up. Then move down, and so on. And if it's a space, I mean, it's going just to set this size of the circle to 50. Let's not make it 100. So just put it back to smaller. Why? Because if you remember, we did something that every time we move, we increase the size of the circle by just 1, just to have some kind of fun, to have something that moves, and then as it moves, you see the circle is going to grow, and the circle grows until it becomes, well, there's no limit. It just keeps growing because as we move in any direction, we just increase the size by 1. And if I press the space, no, I meant the space, just goes back to the size of 50. That's what it does. Because every time we move, we just increase by 1, and then I just when I hit the space, it just goes back to 50. Yes, you had the question? Move what? With the mouse? Well, yes, you can move with the mouse, but then you have to catch the mouse listeners, and then you have to just mention how it is going to move. So you need to get the position of the mouse, and then, well, you can do something like that, yes. But anyways, it takes more code. But you just need to catch the right event, and then what happens is that if that event happens, what you would like to do, you have to implement it. So for example, if you'd like the mouse, you need to catch the mouse position, so you need to know where is the position of the mouse, and then once you have that position, you just draw it around that position, something like that. So what I wanted to say is, well, I've put this, this is what we've done last time. I just increased the speed to 100 because I want to see it moving fast, but if I want to have a smaller speed, I can just make it like 70, so it will just not move fast away from the screen very soon. Anyways, but as I increase just by 1, if I wanted to increase faster, I just need to just put these to increase by 5, for example. Now these circles, every time I move them, they are going to increase like much quicker in size than what it is doing right now. So now, as you can see, it's just going to keep moving much faster. So it's up to us what you'd like to do, right? And then as soon as I press the space, it just backs to the size it was. But notice the position didn't change. So you see the position, even if the screen, I mean, now check this circle. You see the circle now is almost taking the whole screen. However, when I press space, it's just going to put the circle here. Why? Because the position is somewhere here, like this, some kind of a corner here. The top left corner of an imaginary square is here, and then this is where it is going to be drawn. So when I put a space, notice I'm just going to try to approximate the place with the top left corner, and you see the top left corner is still kept, and then it just draws a smaller, in a smaller circle. So that's why the circles is here and not here, because of that thing. So anyways, now I told you just to have some fun, just to design something. I just would like to run this file now. Run the file, because this file just copied it exactly, and then I just named it run a donut. And instead of drawing just one circle, I'm drawing 2 circles. Well, and I'm moving, instead of moving just one circle, I'm just moving both of them. That's like, instead of a ball, it's some kind of a donut, or maybe a wheel, or whatever. Or you can maybe from this draw another wheel, and then it becomes a bike. And then if you try to draw whatever, so it's just, you have 2 wheels, and then you draw a line, it becomes, and then a couple of lines, and it becomes some kind of a bike. it will take us some time to do that, but this is something that you can do if you want to, and then you can move the whole bike by moving everything. So it will require a lot of x's and y's, because each one is going to be in x and y, because just for this, for example, I had to change the inner class my panel, because I don't have only x1 and only one x and one y, but I have two. One is going to be for the bigger circle, the other one for the smaller circle. And then I just start with some values. I just approximate the values. That I was trying to play with those values until I found something that makes sense. So when you run the first time, run again, it will just display these with the right size, so they look like in one inside of the other. But how do I display them is that when I paint, see, the color red is the one that I start with, and then I fill it with this one first, which is the x1 and y1. This is the red one, and then the cyan one, which is the same background, same color the background, and then I draw it with x2, y2, with this size of being half of the size of the circle.
You can draw oval, because it can be the same color of
Draw oval is just going to draw a line. Then what are you going to do with draw oval if instead of fill oval? That's a nice. Let's have a look of how it is going to look like. Well, it's just going to draw a line, but you don't see that line. Actually, it's just it draws it, but I don't see it actually clearly. Does it? No, it doesn't even show. I was expecting maybe to see a line, but it doesn't. Well, draw is just drawing. Maybe if I draw also an oval here, now I'm going just to see two lines, but I'm not going to see the other line. But oh, I need to. Sorry, let me. Every time I run, what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click here, because you see I have a main here. I have a main here. This is the main for movable, that sets the movable to be visible, and I have this another one in the bottom that I copied, which is setting. So now every time I run, you see by default it shows like the right triangle here, like this play here is showing on this movable here. But I'd like to change that to make it something else. So I'll just right click on the project, and then in the run I'm going to select this move donut. So now every time I'm going to run, this is the one that is going to run, not this one. So let me run this, and this is the one. This is what I was expecting. So that's why. So this is move donut. You can see that with what I did now, I just put it back to this one. I just draw an oval, and here I fill an oval. So I'm filling an oval, but then I'm just drawing an oval here. So anyways, it shows some kind of different thing. Anyways, it shows like maybe it looks like a wheel, more or less, whatever. Anyway, so that's what you need to do if you have to draw two things and you want to move them. So I'm moving the two things. So every time now in the move right or move left, I just move the x1 and x2 instead of just one. Now if you add more shapes to your frame, you have to add more pluses, x3, x4, whatever. Now it becomes too much, so you should give them a name. X big circle, x small circle, and then x bar. So you have maybe the bar that's going to be down, and then if you'd like to move to put some kind of I don't know, some kind of shape, you can move that thing. Like say if you'd like to have, like this is the first one, you can draw another one next to it, and then you can put something, maybe I don't know, some kind of a bike. Or if you'd like to draw something like this, well, you have just to draw, so each line is the same way that I drew them here. So each line separated, and then you can just, I don't know, put something, whatever.
Can't I draw an image, or access an image, instead of drawing shapes?
You can have an image, probably, I don't know, I've never tried that though. But I think, let's see, what kind of, in the graphics, I think there's some kind of draw image that you can have. And then, but the image, there's some kind of more details that you need to specify. And I haven't used that personally, so I have no idea how to do that. But it's not a big deal, you just need to put the image and then load it into this kind of a class called image, and then put some kind of position. What is this image observer? I don't know. I need to just to see what this observer means. I just need to maybe draw image, and so I can get the help. So specified currently the as is currently available. The image is drawn with its top left corner at x and y, and in this graphic context coordinate space, transparent pixels in the image do not affect whatever pixels are already there immediately in all cases, but I would just like to see the parameters. Here, and the parameters EMG, this IMG is the specified image, x coordinate, y coordinate, an observer object to be notified as more of the image is converted. Okay, I have no idea what this is, so I need to just read more about it and try to understand it. But definitively you can just add an image and then draw that image. So you can, for example, find an image of a car and then get it to move. And basically it will be much better than this type of drawing that you have. But I mean, you get the point. The point of this is just to show you that basically you can draw whatever you want. You can also draw a text. Now, for example, now I'm okay, this is moving the donut. Let's just run it again. Now we're just right here, and I can maybe put some text somewhere, but every time I put some text I need just to specify where the text is going to be again. So let's just, I don't know. Now remember, every time you draw something it's going to be with the color that you set. Now if I draw an oval, it's going to be with this color now. If I do something, draw a line or whatever, draw string. So if you draw a string, all you need to do is you have to mention what is the text that you would like to draw and then where you would like to have it. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to draw this text with after it being red, and I'm putting it in the x1, y1, so it's the same place as the top left corner of the first here, so you can see it. This is where the top left corner starts, and then this is where the text shows up. If you'd like to change the text color, the text font, the size of the text, well, you can just do something else. Just set, I think, set font, and then you have to mention the new font that you'd like to use. Okay, with the new font, what is it going to be? What I'm going to make it Arial, for example, and then you remember this is the style. I'm going to make it bold, and then the size I'm going to make it 25. Let's say, I don't know what 25. How big is it going to show? But now my text is much bigger with this font, and it starts at the position that I mentioned. But notice the position here is not the top left corner, but the position here where the text starts to be entered. So here, this is the position of the text. And of course now it's going to move with everything, because now I'm moving x1 and x2, so it's going to draw the text whatever you want. So you can just do some kind of game if you want to. But now is what you could do. You could just do some kind of, instead of a ball, you can play the snake. You know, the snake game where you can just put some kind of ball, and then if you touch the ball somehow, you can you just move it with the right and left, and then if it's at the same position, then you just make the snake longer, and then you put some kind of I mean a small piece somewhere, randomly in that side, and then you can use the random thing that we did. You had a question? Is that okay? With the image, all right. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay, so let's stop this.